Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're taking a look at Velocity Vanguard. And you need to ask yourself the question, have you ever wanted to explore space? The intricacies of travel in a zero-gravity field with things like giant pursuing ships, landing zones where you need to dock, asteroids for you to avoid, resources for you to mine and collect, and more specifically, an open environment where the movement and decisions you've made over the past few turns come back to either benefit or haunt you as you are set adrift in this open environment, potentially even going to war with all the other little ships and bits here on the board. This is Velocity Vanguard, a game all about space exploration. A game that, honestly, I want to pull off the shelf to have the in-between moments for ISS Vanguard. It has that essence, that nature of something unique and something cool happening on the table here as you equip various different ships with tons of different modules as you maneuver on your movement board here, slowly drifting two to the side and two forward as you press forward, trying to lock in or dock or collect resources or maneuver your way from one side of the board to the other side of the board. Velocity Vanguard is a game about movement. It's a game about precision and prediction and accuracy. It does some things in this genre that I haven't seen any other game attempt to do, and I'm going to be honest, when it comes to zero-gravity movement, I think they did it right. Now, just in case you're wondering, this is a preview video. It is not paid or sponsored in any way. Quite the contrary. Board Game Co. covered this a while ago, did a review over on his channel, and told me that I might be interested in it, and so he sent it my way. And I gotta say, I am so thoroughly charmed by this game and excited that it is already fully funded on Kickstarter. So to be honest, if you're watching this, there's 48 hours remaining. This is one of our 48-hour video series. They funded. They hit some stretch goals. They have some Kickstarter exclusive bonuses. They have micro drones that can be added into the board for your game mat. There are going to be people getting this game. The only question you have to ask yourself is, are you going to be one of them? Because I know I am. So, Velocity Vanguard. Let me go through exactly what this game is and what it is doing and why I think it's so fascinating as a module or as a system or as an experience. But first, let me start with just a little touch of flavor text. Frontier. It wasn't long ago that humanity reached out, first to their own moon, then to the inner asteroid belt surrounding Sol. It was where they discovered the value of extraterrestrial resources and the race for the system dominance began. Settlement. Every step beyond that asteroid belt yielded new and more valuable resources. Soon the entire Sol system was colonized by surface-based installations and orbital platforms. The generations of corporate loyalists spawned new independent micro-societies, and within 2,000 years of the first asteroid mined, nearly half the population of the entire Sol system lived off Earth. As with all societies, when resource sites became scarce, conflict flows. Corporations, factions, and thousands of independent operations formed into alliances and started protecting their resources along factional borders. Fighting was constant. Militarization accelerated and escalated the need for interplanetary dominance. This drive for dominance pushed acceleration of technology and innovation so that by 2350 AD, mutual destruction was almost guaranteed. Beyond. Through amazing discoveries within the Sol system, the Terran Reach discovered a way to travel vast distances, almost instantly along the dark matter web that binds the Oran Arm. The Terran Reach, along with the splinter groups of competing alliances, left Sol and colonized relatively nearby regions in their namesake. With the new conflict of Sol left behind, the next 100 years of peace found a small foothold in the Terran Reach as they expanded away from their past, and humanity's interstellar colonist societies flourished. Time washed away memories of conflict and brought with it a new threat. Your beginning. Velocity Vanguard starts off in the early days of solar system exploration. Players will have the opportunity to play out key conflicts and discoveries as one or more four dominant factions. Scenarios range from cooperative to non-conflict puzzle solving to all-out battle royale or single-player survival. So, what is this game? This game is going to be set as if you're sort of the Starfleet or the Star Command. You're maneuvering around this board. You're going to have your own system player board, one which matches this main board here that's going to dictate your movement, the drift that you've taken. For instance, if with yellow I went 1 forward and 2 over, I'm always working from my center of mass. So my ship now needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4 away from my center of mass, and needs to drift 1, 2 over, it looks like. And so I'm 100% going to either run into this ship or run into that asteroid, which isn't a very good demonstration setup, but that's how this system is going to be working. You're going to be maneuvering 1, 2, and then drifting over to the side, sometimes yearning or turning based off of where your gravitation is, but still potentially drifting in this direction. That's the core concept. That's the core conceit. It's the maneuverability. It's the fluctuation of moving in a zero gravity environment. You always have some remnants of the actions that you've just taken pulling back on you. Unless you use your thrusters to try to bring this back to zero, you're always going to be working against the direction that you've already set in motion, or paying an extra price or an extra cost in order to correct or rectify the mistakes that you've made. And other things will impact you as well. This can be a variety of different game modes, from training sessions that work you through the basic modules to full-out skirmish mode where you're trying to attack other players, cooperative mode as you're working to either dock or avoid a ship that's kind of coming through and doing its best to catch you, kind of alien technology. You could have systems where you're trying to maneuver through the asteroid belt or land on them or land next to them in order to harvest and get resources and then return it to the dock. This has a ton of different variability with the way to play, from solo exploration to cooperative to competitive, and all of it is functioning around the idea of your asymmetric ships and ship powers and ship abilities. Over here on my board, I have my movement board, which I was just demonstrating, but I also have variable captain logs, each with their own special abilities. For instance, over here with Emily Huru, the Frontier Director or Protector. Morale. An activated crew team may activate again on an adjacent module. Rally. 2 different modes may be activated twice in the same round, or troubleshoot. When repairing one module, the energy cost is reduced to 1. Now, what does that mean? Over here on each one of our ships, we're going to have our 3 different sizes of ships and a drone, if you've backed the Kickstarter. And all of these will have different areas that you can either upgrade with little tiles and elements that get notched into your ship's abilities. You can either upgrade them or start utilizing their power by activating crew that you're going to have on board. This game is not only about the movement throughout this sort of galactic space, but also about the team that you're running. Whether or not and when you activate your thrusters or your boosters, whether or not you fire off a laser or shoot rockets into the environment, changing your and some other people's direction potentially. Whether or not you activate or recharge your shields to protect you from the attacks of alien spaceships, or to allow you to bump up just a little bit against one of these asteroids as you pass, redirecting and correcting your motion. That's the idea or nature of this game, and every session will come with its own story base or its own module for you to engage with and encounter. And I believe the prototype I have here plays up to 4, but on the Kickstarter, it's going to be able to play up to 6 people sitting down with this giant mat, and there's actually a larger mat that you could get if you really want a full-out space conflict. This is just such a cool, innovative game. I mean, genuinely, I haven't seen another game attempting to do what this one has done when it comes to movement, when it comes to position. I'd love to see some racing games or some more space-based games that work in this. I'd love to see Ender's Game and that sort of global conflict they had in the center of the spaceship there replicated with this idea of constant motion unless you grab onto things as you maneuver. And honestly, this feels like it should be pulled out as I'm playing ISS Vanguard to be the landing module for interplanetary exploration. When I'm coming out of the Planetopedia, I should pull one of these out with the ISS Vanguard system and just see if I can actually land on a position instead of rolling dice or spending energy. I think that would be such a cool little step aside. And since the names relate anyway, to me, it seems like an appropriate hybrid. So, if you like space, if you like space exploration, if you like games that are doing something different that not a lot of people have or have on their radar yet, This one is fully funded. I am so excited to be able to show it off, and I think there's going to be some people in the audience that would be upset if they missed it. Outside of that, thoughts and criticisms around it. Well, it is a system that does something very unique and very pinpoint, right? You're going to be maneuvering around space, and this functionality can become very frustrating if you found that you've made a crucial mistake. I also can't wait to see more modules, and I'd love to see more of a story mode or narrative as the game begins to expand. It can also be a lot if you're managing 3 or 4 ships and doing your very best to spend resources appropriately and figure out and do the math on where they all can move. If you're playing with a lot of people, I could see this being a little bogged down from AP or from people trying to rectify the mistakes they've made. I'd probably include a rule in your game group that just says chess rules. Once you've moved or started to move, those are the decisions you've made, and if you're going to smash into an asteroid, you're going to smash into an asteroid. I would also love to see more ship powers and ship abilities, more versatility when it comes to the type of modules I can run, and I cannot wait to see the extra things we're going to be including, things like pockets of gravitational pull or elements that start twisting the nature of this. I'd love to be able to fire off some levers and hook onto a ship and swing around an asteroid, or completely turn off my power, so disengage and fire rockets instead to blow myself in a certain direction. There's a lot of stuff I feel like you could do with this movement system, and I cannot wait to see as they develop and continue playing with it. That being said, this game is unique. It's a one-of-a-kind, and I think probably leads more to a experiential play than a every single weekend play. There's going to be some people that solo this whole thing and design a whole campaign and really love it. I also think there's going to be a few gaming groups like myself that pull it out maybe once a month or so to show new players or just to sit down and have a puzzle to solve. It's doing something so cool, and for me, someone who likes to have unique and interesting games in my collection, this one fits the bill. I don't know of another system or another game that is directly competing with it on my shelf downstairs. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions or if you are checking out this game. Whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Always factor in your drift. We'll see you next time. Thank you.